Hey besties, welcome back. It is almost 2024, which I am convinced is not a real year, but that's not what this video is about. 2023 was truly a year of BLs. So many I haven't seen, some because they weren't my cup of tea, others because it even forgot its own premise at times, and some shouldn't have been made to begin with as they lacked direction and depth, while others took themselves way too seriously. And the rest just didn't take any time to be serious. Like, be for real. Today I'm going to rank my personal favorite BLs that I think are some of the best from this year, from 7 to all the way to number 1. It was hard, honestly. This video is divided into chapters, so skip around where you need to go. When I make these videos, this is me, my taste, my thoughts, my ideas. It doesn't reflect in any way anything about you. Okay, let's get into it. Number 7. Okay, I'm not gonna talk like that. I've always wanted to say that because of Watch Mojo or something. Number 7, My Beautiful Man Season 2. My Beautiful Man 2 is the sequel to the Japanese BL series My Beautiful Man. It picks up now with Kyoe, aka the beautiful man in question, as his acting career has taken off in the second season, making him a celebrity now. However, now being in a relationship with Hira and cohabitating, he's even more concerned about his boyfriend and the status of this relationship as his career grows. Hira and Kyoe realize their lifestyle and goals may not have been going to the same lane. As soon as the season was completed, I just knew that this was going to be one of my favorite of 2023. Hira and Kyoe's story was left last with them admitting they like each other. Kind of. And I think I was deeply curious about how they were going to get on, knowing there's such a difference in the way they engage with each other. Seeing an immature Kyoe, an expressive Kyoe, an angry Kyoe, and a thick-headed Hira who still doesn't think he deserves this beautiful man, and Kyoe's constant need to be validated by Hira was so well executed. The characters were deepened in season 2 rather than seeing them just go on through another adventure just because. We witnessed them learning about each other's dreams, desires, and behaviors. It is not all roses and silk sheets. It is a tale of two people learning to understand each other and themselves. And it is so well fucking done. And the movie's good too. Bravo, guys. Number 6, Our Dating Sim. Our Dating Sim is a Korean BL series about a workplace romance in a video game company that explores the story of Kitae and Won. As Won just got hired at a company where he's stressed to find out that his high school crush works at the same place. Due to a failed love confession, they basically haven't been in contact for years. They now have to work together in a small team, navigating their unresolved relationship history. I stumbled upon the show by accident, and by that I mean it was a recommendation that I reluctantly took on. And let me tell you, I fell in love. While the premise is really interesting, at least in the way that it was executed, what got me really hooked is the riveting chemistry of the leads. Their chemistry feels really effortless, although you can tell there's a lot of exceptional direction and studying of characters that went into this seemingly simple show. The chemistry elevates the show in a way that excellent casting or well-developed side characters do. All I can say is, watch it. You will not regret it. Number 5, Our Dining Table. Eating around other people is a struggle for a salaryman, Yutaka, despite his talent for cooking. All that changes when he meets Minoru and Tane, two brothers many years apart in age, who ask him to teach them how to make his delicious food. Yutaka soon finds himself having a change of heart as he looks forward to the meals they share together. Honestly, I loved the slow pace of the show. I know it wasn't a lot of people's cup of tea, as it doesn't follow the typical trope of characters that are vastly different in terms of how they show up. Like, for instance, one of them being incredibly toxic or dominant, and the other being soft and demure. These characters are misunderstood by the world, but they feel at home with each other. So the emotional arc of the story focuses on the characters understanding themselves and then in turn each other. The world building of the show was so incredibly well done. They took their time. The romance was an element of the story, but it wasn't the main one or the only one. It deals with less explored topics like belonging, community, the impact of food, and just how loving relationships of all types transform a person completely. Just beautiful. Number 4, Jack of Frost. This follows the story of illustrator Ritsu and salesman Fumiya, a couple who fell in love years ago who just hit a rut within their relationship as misunderstandings around their lifestyle and desires changes. In preparation to end the relationship, Ritsu gets in an accident and loses all his memory, losing Fumiya and their relationship. While Fumiya tries his best to support Ritsu during their time, Ritsu finds himself becoming attracted all over again to Fumiya again while having amnesia. Okay. I don't think this is a surprise. I love this show. I have talked about it several times. It is literally my dream story. I wanted someone to make a gay amnesia story and I was ecstatic when it came out. It is such a classically cliche story about falling for each other again. Then it would have been quite predictable to the point of being boring if it wasn't really well done. Somehow it works. The characters are so rich in the way they are performed and written. I find the bittersweet moments really tender, the sweet moments unbearably sweet, and the cinematography a layer to the storytelling. Although the story can feel slow for some or even predictable, the way it was done was so exceptionally beautiful that I go back to it often enough. I sometimes wish I would forget my first previous watch times so I can re-experience this all over again. Number 3, Moonlight Chicken. Jim, played by Earth, is an ordinary guy running a chicken rice diner. One night he meets Breezy, Wen, played by Mix, when he stays past closing drunk. Brought together by fate that night, intangible feelings arise. Neither can stop thinking about the other despite their efforts. Moonlight Chicken had a lot of flaws. Let's start there. Some of the stories needed more exploration and hope, and even depth. Some moments felt incomplete, and I was left wanting more. But let me just say, I loved the show. It went out to explore complex stories of protagonists who are flawed in many ways and didn't shy away from getting vulnerable about characters, exploring murky topics like fidelity, disability and autonomy, interdependent family relationships that border unhealthy, grief, parental abandonment, and so many more. Did it so beautifully, I had to do a double take to appreciate the team being able to use gorgeous cinematography to uplift the storytelling. The 8 episodes left a little bit short to touch on all the stories that cast the characters, and I wish it was longer, but I can definitely say it was one of my favorite BLs that I go back to often, especially Li Ming's and Heart story, which was written and performed with so much tenderness and heart by Gemini and Fourth. Number 2, My School President. This is a story of a student body president, Tin, played by Gemini, who had a secret crush on Gun, played by Fourth. Gun happens to be the head of a music club and lead singer of a school band. Tin, as the son of the principal and the school president, is instructed to get rid of any clubs that don't boost their school's reputation. The music club tops the list, and Tin is therefore Gun's #1 enemy. Yo, I made a whole video about this show as soon as it was completed airing at the beginning of the year. What can I say that I haven't said, or I guess I have said before? My School President takes all the tired and worn tropes of BLs and weaves them together seamlessly into an epic gay musical. The show has an energy I cannot put into words. MSP is a really fun show. Friendship, family, a slice of life, youth drama, you can call it whatever you want. But there are moments of grief and sadness which binds the story really, really well. MSP reminds us time and time again that when everything feels lost and gray, you find the purest emotions left: love. The plot is incredibly uncomplicated, yet we are invested in the well-being of the characters throughout the show. Characters don't contradict their values and morals throughout the story, and their actions feel consistent with their characters, which affirms the relationship dynamic, which I honestly will say arguably is one of the healthiest ones I've seen in any BL. The values are not contradicted later on either. The characters feel like an ensemble cast and not disconnected from their overall arc. The side stories and characters don't feel like placeholders. This is such a rare type of representation, especially for a show out of GMM TV. No shade, no tea. The only reason I didn't put it at #1 is because of a show that came out in the last 2 months. And that is I Feel You Linger in the Air. And that is our winner. That is my favorite BL of this year. It follows our main character Jom, an architect responsible for the renovation of a historic house in modern-day Thailand. Within that house, Jom discovers a wooden chest packed with old drawings, and these drawings look strangely familiar, but he doesn't give it a second thought. He kinda just puts that at the back of his mind and leaves for Bangkok to see his lover. But then when he gets to Bangkok, he finds out that his boyfriend is engaged to someone else. Super down bad and heartbroken, Jom comes into a place of acceptance and runs his car into the river. Basically, Jom will find himself waking up in the 1920s Chiang Mai. I am absolutely in love with this show. I am making a series right now talking about why it's so good. Part 2 is coming up soon, by the way. But let me be brief. This was one of the best BLs to come out of 2023, if not for a while. The cast of characters are captivating, as they are allowed to be deep characters with various moral compasses who are all profoundly human at the same time. Even characters that have villain tendencies are explained quite well, which allows you to see their motivations and the circumstances they ended up in, including Robert, for instance. It never justifies the bad actions of their characters, but it does delve into their psychology extensively. All the stories are connected, and it doesn't fall into a trope of distracting us with theatrics or adding fluff that feel too unaligned with the writing. This show is one of the few where everything is so intentionally designed. The OST, for instance, during intimate scenes, layer the emotion that we're already experiencing instead of inciting distraction or covering a low-quality storytelling or creating some sort of repetitive, absurd piano to instruct us to feel some type of emotion. The color grading adds to each of the moment a new tone rather than using a weird haze all throughout. Flashback is used tactfully rather than as a placeholder to lengthen the story. It reveals something new about the characters and the moments. And that's all for my ranking. What did you think? Do you agree? Did I miss some big ones from your list? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!